I've utilized this hitch for the last 3 years, and it was a major upgrade from our old Reese 14,000 pound hitch. This is 16,000 pound hitch, but that was a 14,000 pound hitch. The major difference between the two, this one articulates left and right, or driver to passenger side of the truck, and the Reese did not. So we kept having issues with detaching and reattaching the truck and trailer. Now the old hitch I operated in my old truck with my old fifth wheel, and then in my old truck with this current fifth wheel, and then in this truck with this fifth wheel. So I had a lot of experience with that Reese hitch that did not articulate. It worked just fine most of the time, but those times that the pin and the coupler would bind and hooking and unhooking became an issue. Sometimes I would even pop the pins out of the rails to get the trailer unhitched from the truck so that I could maneuver or manipulate the hitch just to unbind it. But this hitch has solved all of that. Another major advantage with this one articulating left and right is when we get on unlevel terrain, the fifth wheel and the hitch, or the pin of the fifth wheel and the hitch, move together much more nicely. I used to see the pin of the fifth wheel raise up off of the plate here, because the plate here is what holds the weight of the fifth wheel pushing straight down on the truck, and then the coupling device is what holds the pull. So the trailer, the pin will be in here and the trailer will be pulling that direction. So this holds the weight, and I would watch that plate of the fifth wheel pin come up off of this plate sometimes. That has been solved also with this hitch as well, and it moves 360 degrees all the way around. So we do a lot of boondocking, a lot of dirt roads, and it does help relieve some of that stress, I believe, on the pin of the fifth wheel, and that was the reason we got it. If you've driven an RV for a period of time, you know gas stations, driveways, the camber of the road, going over curbs can be just as bad as going down a dirt road with how the angles are. So you really got to watch those. A great feature of this hitch is the indicator on the front when you're hitching up. There's an indicator there to help you determine whether the fifth wheel is properly attached or not. I don't fully trust it. I use it as a tool to know that I've connected it correctly, but I always like doing a pull test as well, and then I know I'm secure. Two issues that I do have with this hitch, and one of them I don't even think is that big of a deal, because I think all hitches bind at some point, but if there's too much tension on the hitch, if the trailer's being pulled this direction back, I can't release the handle easily. It's simply fixed by backing into the pin a little bit, and then I can easily release the handle, and I don't even see that as a flaw, because that's an operation thing, I believe. The other issue is the safety pin that came with it broke off very early on, but I did want to use a padlock to lock it in place. The issue with the padlock is it took me a while to find a padlock that works, and I'm not completely happy with how it works, just because it's not super simple. And maybe there's something out there that I just haven't found yet, but it hasn't been high on my list of problems to solve. But I do have a padlock that does fit in there, it does hold it secure, and it's been working for me for the last 3 years. Overall, this hitch is simple to set up. Other than the rails to your vehicle, all those rail attachments are different, so you'd have to look for your particular vehicle. But above the rails, the A16 is a very simple setup, very simple design. One of the reasons why I wanted an 8-foot bed truck or a long bed truck was so I didn't have a sliding mechanism. I really wanted just a simple fifth wheel hitch. Now the Curt A16 is a 16,000 pound hitch. The Silverados, 3500s are all a little different, but pretty close to a 14,000 pound weight capacity for a fifth wheel application. So going with a bigger hitch really didn't make sense, because the truck is not capable of towing more. The bigger versions, I think there's an A25 and an 30. Don't quote me on that one, but the bigger versions, they're a very similar design as well. Coupler handle works very similar to this one. And buying a bigger hitch really didn't make sense to me. It was more money, and my truck simply wasn't capable of carrying more weight. This hitch does come apart in 2 pieces, so you can remove it from the bed in 2 pieces easily. They say it's easy, but it is still a little heavy, still a little awkward, even in 2 pieces. But by breaking it down into 2 pieces, I can remove it very easily by myself versus having to go get Lauren and 2 of us lift it out as we did the old hitch. So that has been nice. But we don't remove it too often because we're full-time RVers. We're always utilizing it. But there are a few occasions where we do remove it. Overall, the past 3 years, this Curt A16 fifth wheel hitch has worked well for us. I've done the regular maintenance that Curt requires, and sometimes I haven't done the regular maintenance Curt requires, and it still seems to work just fine. So until next time, remember to seek, learn, experience, and grow.
And join our caravan by clicking that subscribe button and following us on our webpage.